Great rising, beautiful people. I am a little tired this morning. I was up, but kind of had to get myself uh, centered and grounded. So, this is another daily collective message. Today is Friday, October the 8th. Hope everyone is doing well. Okay. Oops, I'm sorry, you guys. All right. So, today's collective message, based on the thumbnail, it says change. And I think that we're going to be talking about how changes are inevitable and how changes um, can be very beneficial, especially in the times that we live in now. A lot of changes, a lot of accelerated ascension, right? Or a lot of things will contribute to your accelerated ascension. So it's really important to understand the changes that are happening and understand how you can use these changes to your advantage. Okay, so just wanted to ask you guys to take a moment to breathe, take deep belly breaths, and sometimes I introduce or the message using a breathing exercise because this is going to allow you to get into a state of being that is ready to receive the information. So I'm going to go ahead and start the breathing. And it's just do this. It's just 3 deep breaths, and inhaling through your nose, deep into your belly. So as you breathe, your belly should be expanding, and then like you're inflating a balloon. And then you breathe out through your mouth slowly, and as you exhale, you deflate the balloon. So your tummy goes in. And I usually tell you guys what you can do is you can try to pull your belly button all the way back as if you wanted to touch the back of your spine. Oh, okay. But just 3 deep breaths. Great rising, honey. Great rising. Good. I know that I didn't come on last night. I decided to, as part of self care, to just rest. I was up this morning. I didn't sleep for a big chunk of the night. So I woke up at 6:44. I was analyzing a dream that I had. I was pondering. And then I ended up falling asleep again and I woke up at 7:37. But I had to do my morning routine and all that stuff. And I just kind of woke up with a little bit of a slight, I won't say I have a migraine, but I did feel a slight headache, just because of just being up all night. And again, whenever I have like a lot of when I lucid dream, I tend to kind of feel a little bit, my body needs to kind of get a chance to kind of catch up. But so do your breathing, and then I'm going to just kind of set the intention with how I want to present this message. I have some decks out, but I don't even know. I need to pull out my tarot deck. Some of this may be mostly just communication, and then I may just use, the decks to kind of let spirit lead. Um, Go ahead and breathe. Get yourself centered, and I want you to get to a state where you feel at peace. There, you're not so concerned with anything pressing, but just ready to absorb any information. Um, and this is just kind of like, think of this like a group message, group text, or like group FaceTime or group chat. where we just come together, we have a little discussion, we set our intentions for the day. We're, what I'm, my goal is to create a daily habit, and I need to get on point with with schedule, with time. I will make a note of that. But just a daily habit so that we can keep reinforcing our new mindsets as we kind of navigate through this new paradigm, right? Because we're operating in a new cycle where the restrictions or the things that we had to learn in the past, we've transcended those lessons, a lot of those lessons, but sometimes we could be still stuck in that energy. Spirit wants you to realize that you don't have to be stuck in the past anymore. Like the things that you dealt with in the past, you don't have to deal with that anymore, but you have to get into the mindset of you don't have to deal with that anymore. So because we've just been so used to living a certain way, thinking a certain way, being a certain way, it's kind of hard to break out of that. So I'm trying to reinforce new healthy patterns and just for all of us as a whole. So let's take our final breaths and hold that breath before exhaling. Remember when you inhale, inflate that belly like a balloon. Deep, deep, deep belly breaths. And this will immediately recalibrate your energy and energetic frequency. This will raise your vibration. This will put you in a very calm state. And when you're calm and relaxed and focused, you can retain the information better. But when your mind is scattered, when you're full of anxiety, it's hard, right? So let's get started. I'm going to start off with the energy oracle deck. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I know I'm not projecting as loudly again. A little bit still tired. Great rising, Hagar. All right, Spirit of the universe, please give me clear, accurate messages for the collective. For our highest and holiest good, and the highest and holiest good of everybody involved. Tell us about change. Now, we have rules here. So I'm going to show you guys the rules. And here are the rules. Have faith, I'm sorry, have hope in your heart, faith in your future, love in your soul, kindness in your mind, and anything is possible. So these are the rules, okay? Have hope in your heart, faith in your future, love in your soul, kindness in your mind, and anything is possible. So I just want to reiterate those rules of life. They're simple. Hope in your heart, faith in your future, love in your soul, kindness in your mind, and anything is possible. Anything is possible. Let's do one big shuffle. I'm good, thank you. Just a little tired. All right, I'm going to split the deck, and we are focusing on change. Change is inevitable, right? And with all things in life, um, things must change in order for progress and an evolution, right? Change is good for um, transformation. It's change that we are going to be focused on today is transformational change. Um, I talked about the past as I was opening up the message, and I talked about how sometimes because we've just been so used to living a certain way, thinking a certain way, being a certain way, doing things a certain way, that it's hard for you to change, right? But change is necessary in order for you guys to, I was going to say survive this next season, but maybe so, but not, I don't want it to sound daunting. I just want you guys to know that this next season of your life, in order to achieve what you want, you're going to have to be ready for this change and accepting of it. And this is what change is bringing in. Spirit is starting off the message beautifully. Cornucopia. I want to ask Hagar to quickly look up this word cornucopia and copy and paste its meaning in the live chat. If you can do that for me, darling, I would appreciate that. Cornucopia. That is a wonderful way to lead the message, Spirit. So, Spirit is saying this change is meant to bring in abundance and prosperity and plenty. All right. So, per the book, can y'all read that? I was talking the other day. I was watching a video I posted, and it was like a shadow covering up the words. So I'm hoping and praying that y'all could see that. If you could see it, type it into the chat. So cornucopia, and it says, an abundant harvest and great blessings are waiting for you, and you may even find all of your wishes fulfilled. This cornucopia of gifts from the universe can come in the form of financial riches, job fulfillment, romantic love, or all of the above. When you receive the cornucopia upright, you know that you've done important work and it's about to pay off. The seeds you've planted in your energy and in your life are ready to be harvested. I'm very happy that this is talking about the seeds that have been planted, because we've been talking about planting new seeds, right, since Sunday and even before Sunday. Um, so this is very significant. This is confirmation that if you have planted seeds in the past, recently, whenever these seeds were planted, they have been germinating and they have been growing. And now the energy is ripe for harvesting. And it says the seeds you've planted in your energy and in your life are ready to be harvested in some significant ways. Get ready for a great feast of abundant value is being prepared for you now. And Spirit is applauding all of your efforts. Okay. So let's talk about that. So the affirmation for cornucopia is, the universe is abundant. All that I desire comes to me in just the right time and way. I am blessed. So you have to make sure that you are intentionally setting your day, setting your mind to achieve the highest outcomes that you want. And because you have this knowledge that this change that's coming in is going to be a cornucopia of blessings, um, this is going to bring in the blessings and abundance that you need. And this is what Spirit is confirming. The universe is abundant. All that I desire comes to me in just the right time and way. I am blessed. Okay. So I'm going to repeat that, and I want you guys to say this affirmation with me. The universe is abundant. All that I desire comes to me in just the right time and way. I am blessed. So this is what Spirit wants you to know, that you have an abundance about to be available to you, but you must be in the energy of being open to change. Sometimes things happen because you need this change. Things are happening to you. Things are happening for you, not to you. So if something is happening in your life and it that you may feel uncomfortable with, understand that it is for your highest and holiest good. Because there could have been situations around you that just didn't serve your higher purpose. This, I talk about this. I talk about clinging to past um, behaviors. We talk about control. We talk about um, resistance. We talk about fear all the time. You guys have to transcend these things and understand that if you don't relinquish control, if you don't stop resisting, if you don't overcome fear, you're going to be stuck in that energy that you don't want to be in. If you really want change, if you really want to see abundance, if you really want to experience the life you want to live, you have to be the change. Okay. You have to initiate that change by doing things differently, by thinking differently, by seeing things from a different perspective, and by relinquishing control and just allowing things to unfold. Sometimes you can't control how change comes in. Okay, but you can control the way you respond to the change, how you react to the change, and what you do with that change. Okay, so um, let's clarify cornucopia. Oh, I just want one card. Okay, so let's get one card for cornucopia. Now this is good because you're being told that you're going to get your wishes are going to be fulfilled. So if you feel like you've been disenfranchised or stuck or lacking something, you can have whatever it is that you've been trying to achieve. You got to let go of things. And this is going to include people, places, things, old mindsets, self limiting beliefs, fears, in order for this to take place for you. Can we clarify cornucopia with one card, please, Spirit? And I'm using the Spirit Crystal Spirit deck today. I really like this deck. Um, did you put the definition? Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Can somebody else grab it for me? Because I didn't get it. Can somebody look up the word cornucopia and post it in the chat if you mind? There we go. They want to give me two. It took a little bit, but it's really good. Oh, it's really good. It is really good. I've never seen this one before. New might. But let's start with amber. You guys are familiar with amber, right? You guys know what amber is? It's a resin. A lot of times people find things inside of amber, right? Like little bugs, preserved animal, or like little insects. So let's see what the spiritual meaning of this stone is and what the message is for us. It's card number three, and three is beautiful. Three is a beautiful number. Oh, you want to know what's interesting, you guys? I have card 11, and then I have card 38, which equals to 11. So we do have beautiful transformations showing up in the spread this AM. So I do want you guys to take a note of that. 11 is a very spiritual number. It is a number of change, evolution, and awakening. So let's look at why Amber is showing up as a three. And three is a number of creation. So this means that you have the ability to create the life you want, not being stuck in victimhood, not being stuck in those old unhealthy patterns. I was pondering, like I said, I didn't really get a lot of sleep last night. And I told you last night I had some sort of strange dream. And I was pondering and thinking about that dream. And I was thinking about um, just, the things that have been really holding me back. I was really thinking about what can I do to make changes? Or I was really just, I was actually not looking for solutions, but I was just kind of reflecting, like just thinking about certain things that I've experienced and just the things that I want to change, the type of life that I want to live. I was really, really reflecting. And I was really in that what you call that state, beta state, where the festival offers a cornucopia of pleasures. That's not the that's look look beneath that for the actual definition, but it is kind of like a festival. But I want to know the word cornucopia, what that means. It is pleasureful. Um, and I just want the reason why I'm asking for the definition. I could look it up, but I don't want to be distracted from the message. Um, it's because I want you to understand what spirit is really trying to tell you. So, cornucopia, so that's kind of like the use of the word cornucopia. Could you give me the actual meaning? So, if you look right below that, if you click on it, you will see the actual meaning of cornucopia. Um, because anything ending in pia, pia, um, that usually means like a cyclopedia. I can't think of anything. Media, anything ending in P-I or I-A sometimes is 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 encyclopedia spelled with an I ending in an I-A? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But anyways, but there is uh, the root etymology of this word means something, and I need you guys to get really familiar with viewing your life like a cornucopia. I mean, just looking at this picture, you see, I mean, I hope you can. I mean, I'm assuming you can see the images. You may not be able to see them very well, but if you can, you will notice that there's a bunch of fruits and a bunch of vegetables, and it looks really pleasing to the eye, right? Fruits and tons of fruits and a butterfly and light shining through on all this. Imagine yourself wandering in this forest for days, and you're looking for substance, right? Because the word substance is important as well. And you come across all of this fruit, right? Beautiful fruit just laying there. You would feel very uh you would feel very grateful, right? Because it's so many, it's a lot. So, and I feel like spirit is wanting you to know that the change that's coming in is not going to be just one thing. And as I read before, if you're just coming in, just to reiterate the meaning of that particular card, it isn't just one thing. Spirit says the universe can. It says this cornucopia of gifts from the universe can come in the form of financial riches, job fulfillment, romantic love, or all of the above. Many. Thank you, baby. Okay, so the energy is harvest, prosperity, spiritual abundance. Okay, beautiful. So the essential meaning is healing family patterns, releasing karma, preserving wisdom gained by the lessons of the past. Spirit knows what spirit knows. Listen, I need y'all to really pay attention. And I know that you guys, and please don't, if I haven't responded to anything you've typed into the chat, it's not that I'm, ignoring it. Because I want you to focus. Okay. I want you guys to understand that this is for all of us. And we're all here for a purpose. We're all listening to this because not because you just like to hear me talk. I mean, I'm sure you do, but I know that you listen to me because you know that when I do speak, that there is things that I say that resonates with your soul, right, on a deeper level, right? It's one thing to like to hear somebody talk. It's one thing to like a person, but there's something that I've said or been saying that resonates deeply in your soul. So one of these things for me I can attest to is healing family patterns. So this healing family patterns or family patterns is also known as generational curses. It's also known as inheritance. Okay. And this inheritance is not always for the it's not always positive. I mean, I don't want to look at it as positive or negative, but I will say that inheriting patterns, it can go as deep as genetics or genetically transmitted, not genetically transmitted, but genetically um, having family patterns of disease, right? Great rising. How many times have you guys have seen on TV or have had family members that have had history of disease, and you go to the doctor and the doctor asks, how many people in your family had this disease? That is passed down, that's inherited. And money can be inherited, assets, things, and also habits, and also behaviors. And you guys got to understand that Spirit is saying we want you to heal and transcend these patterns, because some of these patterns are not good. Some of these patterns hurt you. They can create blocks for you. They can hurt you in a way, in a sense. So family patterns, including diseases, habits, it's repetitive, repeating of the same karmic lessons. So Spirit is saying that you have transcended and you've healed certain family patterns. You have released karma, and you've done this because you've been using the wisdom that you've gained from the lessons of the past, or you are going to be in the process of continuing to do these things, continuing to heal your family patterns, continuing to release karma and preserving the wisdom you've gained by the lessons of the past. If you choose not to learn the lessons of the past, you will be stuck in those old cycles. And I already warned you guys that Saturn is, daddy, the father, and he's disciplining his children, so to speak. I'm just using this as a metaphor, um, through those harsh lessons. And think about it as you are in school, you're not paying attention, you're not doing your studying, and now you have to take a test and you flunk. And you guys know what happens when you have to take that end of the year test or exam. You don't pass, what? You don't go to the next grade level, right? You got to take the class over. And some of y'all have been taking the class over and over and over and over again. So the message, the families we come into as infants and the ones we grow up and offer us experiences that yields gifts, lessons about love, about resilience, and about forgiveness, and about our own power to leave behind old ways and embrace the new. Our current families do this too. By exploring our relationships with family members, we can discover our own strength and wisdom. Amber Spirit is here with a message to reconnect with the wounded story you still recount. One that is a legacy of your family. Can you heal this story and instead tell one from a perspective of love? How beautiful is it to alchemically change the experience of family? This way, you may receive and give love within a family as defined by the heart and the magic of the conscious universe, who sends people your way to make sure you have the caring and affection you need and deserve. Friends can be new family. Reflect today on your love, on the love you have created for yourself, and how precious you are, a gem like no other. Reflect on the family surrounding you, the guides and manifestation of conscious universe here to support you and send you love, and then some more love. Look to those who choose to offer you this gift. for they are your human and animal family. Draw strength from knowing that love shows up always to bring you what was missing in your own family in the past. This balm is available for you to heal the family wound that has hurt for far too long. Why do you think Spirit is talking about family? How many of you guys have had experiences with family and feel that that has been a great hindrance to you? I know you guys have shared very sensitive topics about your past, about your families, and I know you guys have been struggling. We all have been trying to our best, but you want to know what we all have in common? Self-sacrifice. You're probably thinking to yourself, or you should be thinking, how have I sacrificed myself because of family or because of the past dealing with family or the present or what you perceive will be in the future? So, how can you change the narrative of how family patterns and the karma connected to family, how can you uh how can you transcend the old and invite the new? Is how I want to put that phrase. How can you transcend the old and be inviting to the new experience? We all want harmony. We all want peace. We all want to be respected. We all want to be acknowledged. We all want to be appreciated, right? But at this point in our journeys, we all know that that's not the way life works. We all know that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter who you are, that you're always going to have to deal with people that don't necessarily appreciate you or love you, right? And I'm not going to say love you, but love you in the way you deserve to be loved. So let me rephrase that. Because sometimes we have people around us, especially family, that feel like whatever type of love they give us is okay and that we're just supposed to accept it. And today, Spirit is inviting you to be open to a new way, um, and to invite change and to first start with self. Okay. And it says, reflect today on the love you have created for yourself and how precious you are, a gem like no other. Reflect on the family surrounding you, the guides and manifestation of the conscious universe here to support you and send you love. Look to those who choose to offer you this gift, who choose to offer you the love, support, and appreciation you deserve. And for the ones that don't, love them from a distance and hold peace in your heart. And I talked about that last week. I said, find that peace within you. Because if you stay in the energy of anything outside of peace, you're going to invite all the things you don't want to experience. But it is a learning curve for a lot of us. But this is a beautiful message because we are transcending family and healing the family wounds. We're releasing karma and we are learning, right? And we're gaining wisdom from the past. I did get your email, but you have to book, okay? So if you I'm not gonna read it right now in the middle of a live, okay? But I'll check it when I'm done for you and I'll get back to you, okay? Thank you. I just saw it pop up. So um um I'll check it when I'm done with my live and then I'll get back to you. But I can't really address anything, and if you want a reading, you'll have to book with me and then we can go ahead and talk about that. So I want to throw a card on this Amber from the Tarot deck, and I will tell you why family is coming up. And family could be people that you consider as friends too. Okay, thank you, sweetie. I'll get back to you. Don't worry. And then I'll because the only thing I can suggest after I read your email is, finding out how many questions you need or what type of reading you might need. Okay. Um, clarify Amber. Okay. So we have the King of Swords, the Three of Cups in reverse, and the Page of Swords in reverse. So this is about you contemplating about your happiness. So some of you guys been really just been thinking about your happiness, because somebody here has been really thinking about, am I happy or I'm not happy. Someone here has been focusing on, I'm not happy, been thinking about that. And that's natural, right? Because if you're not happy, you're going to be thinking, I'm not happy. Like, but so spirit is offering you as the space to really think about what is making you unhappy. Now, with the Page of Swords here, when we talk about pages, you often hear that pages represent new beginnings. But the Page of Swords is very interesting because the Page of Swords as a person, it's just interesting because we have the King and the Page of Swords in the same spread. Now, usually um, these would represent people, and this could be like a father and a child, okay, or a mother and a son, but or a daughter, because pages are typically daughters. Um, but here, I'm not reading the pages as people. I'm not reading these court cards as people. I'm actually looking at them as thought processes. You're coming from a place of needing to be in this energy, king energy, which is being very clear. But some of you guys have been very unclear as far as um, how you're going to proceed with gaining the happiness you deserve, because you've been reflecting, you've been reflecting on not being happy. Three of Cups. Now, I'm not going to associate this with love or anything, because I feel like Spirit is wanting you guys to really find the source of what has been making you unhappy. And this is important because if there is something in your life that isn't making you happy and you've been wanting change, understand that these things have to go. And the King of Swords is responsible for removing things that doesn't serve him. Right? What do you need to cut out? First, you need to be clear on your intent. And this is also admonishing you to detach from a specific outcome or needing to control a situation as well. Okay. The King of Swords is very interesting because, the Swords card talks about um, the mind, the way we communicate, but it is a symbol of intellectual power and authority. And this is about having the courage and intellect to achieve all that you dream of. And this is why I'm saying that you need to be very clear about what it is that you want. So you've been reflecting on the things that you don't want, or the things that don't make you happy, that don't bring you fulfillment. Three of Cups. When it comes to the people you're interacting with, right? Because the Three of Cups is about kindred spirits, but it is about enjoyment, having fun, being happy. So you're going to need the courage and the strength and the intellect to make the tough decisions, because this is a tough energy, to remove the things that don't bring in that happiness. And this is including you yourself, how you're approaching situations, how you're thinking about situations, how you are responding and reacting to situations. This energy doesn't, he is not impulsive. He is not impulsive. He is not scattered. He is very focused. But the page, on the contrary, in the reverse, is speaking of a different type of energy. And this energy could be the mind playing a pivotal role on why you don't feel a sense of joy or happiness. And of course, there's external factors, right? We know that some things that we just can't control. There's people around us, there's things around us, there's circumstances that may be affecting the way we think about things and the way we're experiencing things. But the reason why these things are happening, or the reason, or the purpose of these cards showing up, is how to navigate through, things that are making us feel uncomfortable, or things that make us feel um uncomfortable. Yeah, things that make you feel uncomfortable, or things that make you feel um disempowered. uh but again, we're talking about feeling disappointing, feeling disappointed, or expecting disappointing news. Excuse me, I apologize. This is like this is about an expectation that you have. Are you expecting bad or disappointing news all the time? Do you feel like you have a lack of ideas? Do you feel like you have a lack of inspiration? Are you having trust issues? Are you holding back when it comes to speaking your truth? Right? Are you holding back when it comes to initiating and starting something? Do you feel like your ideas or your opinions don't matter? This is also about acting in haste, because I talked about the king being non-impulsive, very calculated, thinking things all the way through, not jumping to conclusions, taking his time, reflecting, and then the page is opposite, because the page acts in haste, very hasty, um, does things without thinking things through, because this is a card of a lot of energy, because it represents a childish energy, a very immature energy. The king represents a very mature energy. So this is saying that you need to be careful to not let yourself fall, or match people's energy around you, because it will knock you off your square, and it will create that energy of scatteredness, and you will lose your way, and you will miss the opportunities to have the type of change you want, because change could go both ways. You can have change for the better, right? Because if you embrace the change in a positive way, the change could be beneficial. But if you are acting too impulsively or in haste, you can miss the whole lesson of why the change is there, or why the change is taking place. And this change could be anything in any aspects of your life. But I want you to follow me on what I'm saying. If you are going through something, this is going to be an energy where you are going to either need to express your truth, okay, because this talks about communication. But you can't, because you're afraid that people won't receive you well. You can't, because you feel like your opinions don't matter. You feel like when you do try to speak your truth, when you do try to communicate, that it always ends up in an argument, because the page of swords is very argumentative. This is a very combative energy. This is an energy that when you speak, they got to come back. They got to talk back. In the upright, it is speaking your truth and standing up for yourself. It's like a healthy debate, but in the reverse, it's more of a combative, I don't want to listen to you type of energy. But when it comes to you, when it comes to you energetically, this could be, I don't speak up for myself enough, right? Um, this also means that you could be all talk and no action. So that you could be the one, you could be talking about how, oh, I want change. Oh, my life. Oh, my this, and everything's not going right. But whenever spirit presents opportunity of change, you don't do anything. You don't take the action when you should take the action. So essentially, you're holding yourself back. So are you all talk and no action? Are you always saying how you want to do this and how you want these things to change, but you never do? You never make the necessary changes to get the results you want. Okay. Are you saying that you're going to make a commitment but never follow through? This is also about being very wary of people's commitments to you, making sure that people are just as loyal, just as committed, making sure that people are reciprocating or following through on the things that they say they're going to do. This especially is when people are making promises and saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'm going to do this." So this be careful because this is about people saying things but not really meaning what they say. Okay, especially if you're connecting with an air sign. Just want to throw that out. But outside of that, just going back to the message at hand, acting in haste, making assumptions before you know how you know the answers, um, assuming things are not going to work out, assuming things are going to fail, thinking about the worst case scenario, but not thinking things through, not really letting yourself see the bigger picture with why things have been happening the way they've been happening. This is about tackling one thing at a time. I know that things may feel very daunting and very overwhelming. All of us need to be willing to just really do take one step, one take it one day at a time, tackling one issue at a time. And sometimes the first thing that should be immediate on your mind is yourself, your health, your own happiness. Sometimes we are really focusing on other people and other things, and we always tend to neglect ourselves. Okay. Trying to manage everything at once, and then you never get the outcomes you want. Um, are having a hard time understanding a situation or a concept. Again, having a hard time embracing and accepting and understanding why these changes are happening to you. So, this is admonishing you to ask yourself the really difficult questions about how can you better understand a situation, or how can you approach a situation without trying to control or trying to move too quickly through it. What can you do to get a better outcome? Now, I didn't talk about the Three of Cups because I wanted to save it for last, because I said that, there's something in your life that makes you feel disconnected, alone, unhappy. And the Three of Cups in reverse could be reflecting that type of energy. You could be feeling disconnected. You could be feeling like you don't matter. Um, when it comes to your feelings, um, you could be escaping through temporary ways of coping with your feelings. Like so, there's a coping mechanism, but it's temporary. So this would be like overindulgence, but here I don't want relate that to temporary indulgence. And some of you guys could be taking cup, drinking wine a lot, overeating, stuff like that. But in the reverse, this is encouraging you to try to connect to like-minded people. This is about finding your true tribe, connecting to people that really support you, or focusing on the people that support you versus the ones that don't, because this is about friendship. This is about being connected. This is about working together. Threes, and look, we have another instance of a three with the amber energy. Since we're talking about family, This is about having a strong sense of independence. If you want to attract or you want to have the experiences with family members or the people around you that is favorable, that feels peaceful, that feels like, okay, we all resonate, we all are on the same page, we all mutually respect each other, right? And I'm speaking still about family, whether that be extended family, which is like your friends, your close friends, coworkers, or your immediate family. And this could be like spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends too, right? This is about, if you want to feel that mutuality in your relationships, you first have to set the bar for yourself. You have to know you have to value yourself, you have to stand up for yourself, you have to be like, okay, I come first in this situation. I can't always sacrifice my happiness because of somebody else. I can't always bend over backwards because somebody else. I can't always make myself small because of somebody else. Okay? And this also reflects your relationships. Spirit is just saying that it's because of your family upbringing or because of the past, it affects your relationships. This is what the amber energy is talking about. When I talk about healing family wounds or healing family patterns, it's about mommy, daddy issues or childhood trauma and how that has affected your life in general. How it affects your parenting, how it affects your relationships, how it affects your friendships, how it affects how you interact with people. All of that is encompassing in that family pattern. It is a repetitive perpetuation of a habit or something that negatively impacts you. And there could be good family patterns, but I'm not focusing on that because I'm trying to tell you that whatever has been negatively impacting you has no hold over you anymore. But you just need to be acclimated. Is that the right word? Acclimated. I feel like that's the right word. That's the word that came to mind. Acclimated. Become accustomed to a new climate or new conditions. Perfect word. Spirit just downloads stuff in my mind. Acclimated. Becoming accustomed to a new climate, new season, new cycle, and new conditions. But because you're so used to, or we are so used to the past, we're so used to being disappointed, we're so used to being abandoned, we're so used to being rejected, we're so used to being betrayed, we're so used to being hurt, we're so used to being depressed, we're so used to being small, we're so used to letting people walk all over us. We kind of just, we're still operating in that energy, and spirit is saying, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't got to be used to that shit. You don't got to be used to people treating you like fucking shit. You don't got to be used to people not seeing your worth or your value. You do not have to be used to that shit. That shit shouldn't be normal anymore for you. You have transcended that, or you should be transcending that old pattern, that old narrative, that old story. My story was, I'm not good enough. I might have not used those exact words, but that was basically what my energy was putting out there. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Spirit says that is the old you. You have learned enough lessons to transcend that. You have been around the block enough times. You have been through a certain lesson. You have been repeating a certain cycle enough times to know that that is not you anymore. Because if you were accustomed to letting people hurt you in this new season, nobody could hurt you because you have transcended those old patterns. Because you know self love, you know self worth, you know self value, you know what you deserve. You know that you're not going to accept somebody coming in and offering you crumbs, or you're not going to accept somebody disrespecting you. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your child, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your friend, your coworker, your boss. You're not going to allow somebody to come in and talk to you crazy, treat you less than, underpay you, undervalue you, underappreciate you. You're not doing that no more. But beloveds, this is why Spirit said change. I woke up in time to start this. live at 7. But because I had to acclimate, I woke up, I had a very strange dream, 9/11 on my clock. And I had to sit there and kind of ponder and reflect and kind of just let my body move when it was ready to move. I didn't jump up out of bed. I didn't rush to, because I said, yeah, I know you guys are depending on me. And I know you guys, know that I said that I will be on at 7 or close to 7. But but in that moment, I wanted to honor myself and and in the moment, I didn't feel energetically available to come on to speak. I had to let myself get ready, and I had to honor my body's needs. I was very conscious of my body. I was conscious that I was tired. I was conscious that I didn't feel centered and grounded. I was conscious of all that. So I want you guys to understand that you need to be conscious of you as a being in its totality, meaning physical form, your physical form, your body. Be conscious of your body, what your body needs. Your mind, be conscious of what you need to keep your mind right. Your spirit, be conscious of what you need to do for yourself to keep your spirit right and your soul right and your emotions. And a lot of times we are so busy focusing on problems and other people and this and that happened. And we neglect what we need in totality for us to feel whole. So where does that leave us? Fragmented. And then whatever we got left, and then because we're giving out so much energy to other things and other people, we don't even have anything left for ourselves. So change, Spirit says, change is here. You don't got to live like that anymore, beloveds. You don't got to live like that. I talked about, and I'm going to talk about something personal because since we're talking about family. So I only have one child, one baby, and I've went through some really rough patches with my son, really rough, and we still kind of bump heads here and there. But as a mother, I used to question whether I was being a good mother or not. I used to feel like I failed as a mother. Okay, um, because I wasn't getting along with my son, because I wasn't happy. We didn't have a peaceful environment. It was always, I ask you to do this, it's a problem. I tell you this, it's a problem. You know what I mean? And then I felt disrespected. I felt underappreciated. I felt devalued. And I'm talking about this because I want to connect to you guys, and I want you to understand that I know what you guys go through. And if you're not a mother, this might not be the right example for you, but think of ways you mother other people if you're not a parent, but you may parent other people. And a lot of times children parent their own fucking parents, right? Especially if you're an adult. Sometimes you find yourself parenting your own parents, paying their bills, taking care of them, right? Taking on responsibilities that are not yours, and vice versa. So even as a parent, you have to understand at a certain point you have to allow your children to be independent. So I'm saying all of this to say this. There's a reason for me saying this, right? I have spent a lot of my life sacrificing my happiness, making myself small, walking on eggshells, um, feeling disempowered because I was trying to fit an image or a role based off of skewed standards, what I thought my son needed, what I thought society wanted me to be, right? Being that superwoman, paying the bills, taking care of, especially as a single mom, because I'm not going to even get into being a mother and being in a family dynamic, because that could be a different, that could lead to different set of circumstances. I could only speak on what it is like being a single mother. Now, I'm a mother to an adult now. I'm not a mother to small children. So when you have small kids, it's a little bit different because your hands are a little bit tied, and with kids, smaller kids, it's easier to kind of maintain a certain level of control. Control. and this is just reality, this is just facts. As a parent, you want to have a certain level of control over your children. Okay. So as a young child, based off of the way I was parented, I was parenting my son, but making changes because I was conscious and aware. Whereas my parents may have not have been had the same awareness as me. So parenting style was definitely different, but I can see a lot of similarities, right? Because that's family pattern, right? You know how you grow up and say you will never be like your parents, but then you become exactly like your fucking parents, right? You parent the same way because when you're a child, you don't understand, right? You don't have the same awareness and perspective. No matter what you call awareness, you still have to honor the fact that your parents have more wisdom than you. I don't care what background you're from. I don't care what type of parents you had. Wisdom comes with age and experience. And when you are at a certain age, you are going to have more wisdom than the next person. Yes, a lot of people like to think that I could be young but still be smarter than you. I'm not talking about intelligence, I'm talking about wisdom. It encompasses more than just being book smart. With being wise is going through a bunch of different scenarios and life experiences and knowing how to navigate. You could be smart and have a high IQ, but not know how to take care of yourself and not know how to wash your ass. I know a lot of smart people that don't even know how to wash their ass properly. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times children like to feel like they know so much. And that's okay. They can feel that way, right? Because everybody has a right to feel and express. And and we got to honor that our kids are going to express themselves, and it may not be in a way that we are comfortable with, but it is how we are reacting. So I digress, let me get back to my story. So me and my son used to bump head, and he used to always say to me that he didn't feel like he could express himself. So when he did express himself, it was always very combustible. I have a Leo, I have a fire sign child. So what does that mean? He's holding all his emotions in, and then if he gets triggered enough, it comes out like a big, like a big explosion. Boom, right? It comes out very aggressive, very explosive because he always felt like he could not express himself. He could not say the things he needed to say. So when he said the things he needed to say, it came off mad disrespectful, you know, and you know, kids. So for a time, I battled with that. It was always don't, pop them in the mouth or control the situation to the best of my abilities based off of what my experience, right? So then as we started to go through different challenges in our relationship, different ups and downs, it wasn't always a everyday thing, but when it did happen, I started to reflect on the experience instead of me. And in the moment you're thinking about yourself, of course, because you're reacting. But after the fact, when I gave my sister, when I after the whatever the situation was, whether it's a big one or a small one, because sometimes there's small situations. Sometimes you ask them to do something, they don't do it, right? Sometimes you say to your child, do this, and after like the third or fourth or fifth time, you get mad, you get angry, you might react, right? You might yell and say, hey, I asked you 5 times to throw the trash out. I asked you 3 days ago, whatever, to clean your room, whatever it is that you're saying to your child. Um, I was reflecting and I was like, he keeps saying the same thing to me, that I don't listen and that he doesn't feel like he can express himself. Right. So I started to listen. What was the common denominator? The yelling. I don't like when you yell at me, right? You don't yell at your parent because you're a child, right? But as parents, we yell at our kids, not because, and it's not necessarily bad to yell at your kids. It just depends on how you're reacting and what you're reacting to. So I was very conscious with how I was reacting to how we're communicating with each other. And let me know if you're following me. Let me know if you guys are still there, because I see Jana, but I don't see nobody else saying anything. And I know that some of you guys don't have kids, so you may not be saying anything because you don't have children, but look at how you were parented, and maybe this will apply to how your parents communicated with you. Maybe this might offer some sort of clarity or guidance with maybe how your parents approach situations with you. So, you know, I started to be conscious of the yelling. So then I stopped with the yelling. I stopped reacting quickly, and then I allow myself to kind of um, be aware of how I was communicating. So the communication got better, right? That was a change, and that was a change for the better because what I understood with the interactions between me and my child was the fact that what wasn't changing was I wasn't acknowledging his feelings because I kept feeling like he wasn't acknowledging mine. So when I stopped to think about, okay, let me try a different approach, change. Let's see if I get a different result. And I did. So now that my son's an adult, the change now is that my son wants to be independent, but he still lives under my roof. Now, as a parent, again, you have to still maintain control to a certain extent, but understanding that being too controlling could actually cause your children to rebel even more. You want to maintain the the control to where it's comfortable for both people involved. So again, I was presented with more things to learn by the universe. So then I started having issues as far as, you know, okay, so now that my son's an adult who chose not to continue his education, who chose to drop out of college, how am I going to approach the situation? Because I'm working my ass off to make sure he has a decent life. And now I'm in a position where I need my son to learn responsibilities that you can't just sit here all day now that you don't have to go to school all day. He has a job, but that's his job, and it's not. He's working for himself because he don't got no bills. Well, how could I approach this situation and set a certain level of standards so that I can maintain a certain level of control to where we all parties are happy, right? So it's not going to happen overnight. When you want to, when change is inevitable, or when you need to create the change to make you feel comfortable. So my discomfort was I feel like I was being taken advantage of as far as you're an adult now, 18, now he's 19. You don't go to school full time. You work, but you're not you don't really have any responsibilities. So now you're going to have responsibilities. So that was difficult at first because he didn't like the change. He didn't like the change. And I had to keep reinforcing the change, but I had to reinforce it in a way where I had to make it very clear of the bottom line. At first, as a parent, you know, when you examine what's being presented by the universe, right, which is combativeness, it's like, hey, hey, you need to go to school. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do that. Okay, that's going to create a problem, right? Because you can't force your kids to do the things you want them to do. Of course, in a perfect world, I want my son to go to school, right? And he made his choice not to go to school. I get a lot of slack from family members telling me he need to go to this, and I keep telling my family members, listen, I, he a grown ass man, right? Well, not really in my home, outside of my home. He think he's a grown ass man, so he's going to have to take responsibility for his grown ass man decisions. But while he's making and choosing to not go to school, which caused a certain level of discomfort for me, because of course you want your kids to, again, be able to be responsible for themselves. Because when we leave this world, we want to feel like, okay, I left this world and my child's going to be okay. So I got to the point where I was like, okay, I can't control that. And I had to accept that I can't control that he doesn't want to go to school. But I can control that while he's not going to school and he's an adult living with me, that he's going to have a certain level of responsibilities, right? Because I'm a single parent. Taking care of him. And I saw that he was working and laundering his money. And on top of that, he was starting to feel himself because now he has money. He has his own money. So now he feels very independent. And that's okay because you do want your child to be independent, but you want them to be independent to where they are making good decisions. Now, I had to, you know, embark change by saying, hey, you have certain responsibilities that you have to handle. You have certain things that I would like you to do. And when he wasn't doing the things that I wanted him to do, it became a problem. And then the argument started again. So I said, damn, now we back at square one. So what can I do to make the necessary changes? I had to look at the situation and had to look at it from both sides of the perspective, both sides, right? Like, how is it affecting him and how is it affecting me? Now, when I realized that in the long run, it would actually affect me and more impact me more negatively, um, I had to make a conscious decision to be accepting of whatever change so my decision that I was planning on making, I had to look weigh out the pros and cons. And I was living in a state of discomfort because I felt, like I said, devalued and not being taken advantage of, because now you're an adult, you're here, but you're not doing anything to help out. You're not going to school. You're basically just chilling all day, and then you work, and then you just do whatever you want with your money. So okay, so as the spirit began to give me more lessons, right, more experiences, meaning different things that will happen is an opportunity for you to learn. If you have a disagreement, an argument, or if something happened, this is that spirit's way of giving you uh, an opportunity to learn from the situation so that you can make informed decisions. So I said to myself, well, if he doesn't like the change, and this is the change that I need to that would make me feel comfortable, I would have to make a tough decision. You're an adult. You don't like the rules or the changes that I'm making to make us all comfortable. Then these are your only options, right? You stay here and accept the change, take responsibility for the things you need to, respect, respect me so that I can maintain a certain level of control, or you can go. Now, as a parent, that's a difficult decision, right? And just depending on what type of parent you are, because you want the well-being, you want your child to be okay, you want to make sure your child is safe, you want to be able to see your kids and know that they're okay, they're not out there getting in trouble and all that jazz, right? Because that's what we do as parents. But a lot of times, because of the certain level of control that we're trying to maintain, meaning that we're living in a space of fear when it comes to our kids, because that was another big thing with me, that because he had free time on his hand, he was either playing video games, which was fine. But then I saw that how that could be detrimental to him, to where you're not really doing anything but playing games. And then there was times where it was, I want to hang out with friends all the time, and that was also a problem because that put me in a state of fear and put me in a state of discomfort. Great Rising, Donna, because now I'm worrying, wondering, thinking, and my need for control to know what he's doing at all times was causing me discomfort. So what I had to understand was I had to release the control of whatever I thought the outcome would be, right? My son's out there doing whatever he's doing, hanging out. I have to I had to put myself in a position where I had to change my perspective and look at it as he's 18, 19, and I know that he's going to have to have his own life experiences so that he knows how to, and he's going to have to make mistakes so that he knows how to navigate his own life without me being that person that helped him navigate like I was before. Like when they're younger, you're meant to help them navigate life, but when they become adults, you're meant to let your children roam free a little bit. Not, and again, depending on your parenting style, because again, everybody's parenting style is different. Some parents feel like they have to maintain a certain level of control, but I didn't want to approach the situation that way, because when I was trying to maintain too much control, it caused me discomfort, right? It caused discomfort. It took away from my peace. So making my informed decision required me to look at what would make me happy, what would make my son happy, what would keep a okay level of control. Because you can't have too much control of your children, even if they're little. You have to be able to have certain level of control, but still allow them to have their own life experiences, because they have to. Because just like you had to learn from your experiences and your mistakes so that you could do better, they have to. I had to relinquish the control of wanting to know or being afraid of an outcome, meaning When your kids step out or your kids say they're going to do this, they're going to go there, and they're going to be there. Sometimes as parents, we start to worry. We start to kind of want to know too much or wanting to be in control so that they're safe. But you got to understand that part of change requires you to let go. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is I had to learn how to let go of my child in the example where I needed him to take responsibility as an adult because he wanted to assert himself as an adult. So I had to put responsibilities before him to teach him how to be an adult. Meaning, this is what you need to come out of pocket with, buddy, to live here as an adult. He ain't like it. So the resolution was in order to keep my level of comfort, I would have to be willing to let him go. So for a time, I wasn't really enforcing certain things because there was still a fear of letting him go. And then there's another example there. If you caught it, I talked about, him wanting to explore, him wanting to be independent now that he's an adult, there's a certain level of control that you don't have, right? Because when your kids are adults, they're going to be out there learning, acclimating to their new set of new experiences, right? Learning new things, creating new ideas for themselves. And I had to let go to where I didn't have to worry all the time. When my son got his car, I was a fucking wreck. I was a fucking wreck when he first started driving. My lord, my son didn't know how to park for shit. My son was decent on the road, really bad at parking. And I gave him lessons, and he got his new car, and he wanted to drive that thing all the time. So at first it was you're not allowed to drive without me because he didn't have his license. So that was okay. So, but it was like we had a compromise because when he wanted to drive that thing, I had to be in the car, even when I didn't feel like being in the car. When he finally got his license, I had to let go. And I had to let him, it's just like the analogy where, or in nature, sometimes people use this as an analogy where birds will push their young out the damn tree, out the nest, right? To what? So they can learn how to fly. So essentially, what I'm saying is a lot of the family patterns that we go through is because of what we've experienced and because we are still holding on to a certain standard or of living, or we're holding on to certain behaviors that we've learned from family. And these behaviors prevent us and cause discomfort within us. I'm only using the child situation, my child situation, as an example to kind of give you an idea of what type of changes I had to make. Now, when I presented to my son that these were your two options, he got it together. Because when I was ready to let go and I was ready to put him out there in the world and let him fall, right, push him out the nest, he quickly realized that he wasn't ready for that. So he had to acclimate to the new changes. And now we're both living in peacefully and comfortably because he's doing what he got to do and I'm doing what I got to do. So there's an understanding. But sometimes when reaching the understanding takes work, right? But you have to acknowledge what is making you, what are you willing to accept? What are the changes you're willing to make? And are you willing to make the hard decisions to get the changes that you want? Now, back to more of a general sense, some of you guys don't have kids, but some of you guys have dealt with family members that have made you feel really, really restricted, or you have been raised in an environment or had a past that has been very difficult and has been affecting you moving forward in your life. It has affected your worth, your value, what you think you deserve. It has created this patterning of belief that things are always going to be a certain way. And spirit is saying, no, you now are moving into this new cycle where things don't have to be the same. Things there could be some change. There could be change for you, but you have to be ready to embrace those changes. And these changes may require you to make tough decisions. For example, if you have been working a regular job because you may have been, but you have these aspirations and dreams and goals to be self-employed. You may have a lot of fear surrounding making a change in employment, taking a leap of faith and starting a new business. And you may, because of the way you were brought up, maybe because you were brought up in a impoverished family, maybe you were brought up, where maybe you weren't born into a rich family, maybe you were born into poverty, whatever. But or you may have been born in a family that maybe were really, they pressured you to be great, to do, whatever the scenario is for you. You may have a fear of failure, and it may be holding you back from doing the things you really want to do, right? Because you don't want to feel unstable, you don't want to feel lack. And even if you are in a space where you do feel lack and unstable, maybe you need to make some changes so that you can feel more stable, but you're just too afraid, right? Maybe Spirit has been giving you inspired thoughts that says, go ahead and start that business. Go ahead and leave that job. Go ahead and leave that relationship. Go ahead and leave that marriage. But you're like, well, that's scary for me because that means I would have to change something, right? Well, again, Spirit is saying change is necessary because if you want to have this cornucopia, if you want to have your wishes fulfilled, if you want to have the type of relationship you have, the type of family dynamic you want to have, the type of happiness and peace you want to have, you're going to have to be open to change. And you're going to have to relinquish control in how this change comes in. So I know that that was a mouthful, but that is essentially what Spirit wants to convey to you. Now, the next message, and I'm going to, in um, Morning Collective on the Pneumite card. So Pneumite is the card that came out, and this card is representing the 11 that is being reflected in Cornucopia. So we know that Spirit is saying that you have transcended a lot of generational curses, the things that were restricting you before because of family, inherited karma, a lot of the karma you've been dealing with, that has been released. A lot of things in the family is being healed, and a lot of the lessons you learned in the past, Spirit feels that you're ready to use those lessons to move forward for your, in the now moment and for your future. But are you ready for this change? So see, let's see how new might fits into this change that's coming in. So new might, the essential meaning is achieving self-mastery, inner power, and recovering your sense of self. Beautiful. Oh my God, this is so amazing. So, Spirit is saying, despite what you've been through, despite your childhood, despite the life lessons you had to learn, the experiences you've been through, the heartache, the disappointments, the harsh realities, the changes, you have you are accomplishing a certain level of self mastery and inner power. And all of these experiences were meant to help you to recover your sense of self, to learn how to fly. Exactly. Great rising, Livy. So it says evidence of progress can seem elusive at times, but when new mind spirit appears, it is a sign that you might be underestimated how far you have come. Come through spirit. I need you guys to understand that I am speaking in present tense, and I am saying that you have released, you have learned, you have transcended. And I'm saying this because you don't even realize it because you're so stuck in that old pattern. Spirit is saying you don't got to be that person anymore. You don't have to be that disempowered person, or that person that felt abandoned, or that person that felt rejected, or that person that felt small or ignored or invisible. You're not that person anymore. You have transcended, you have graduated, you've passed. You're ready for the new set of lessons. You're in a new cycle, and you're underestimating your growth. Our minds are conditioned to pay attention to the negative and to overlook all that is good in our lives. Exactly. Including the results of your efforts over time. You may not have received a big blue ribbon or a parade in your honor, but conscious universe acknowledges and celebrates all your hard work mastering your fears. Wow. I feel very, very, very content in this moment. I feel very grateful because I've been through a lot, and I know you guys been through a lot. I've suffered, I've cried, I've I've been in a state of sheer I don't even know what word to use to describe. I I want to say I felt I'm hearing the word through, okay? And I'm talking about THREW through. Is that the one that I want to use? Maybe it is. Hold on. I felt through. Like, does that make sense? Let me see. Um, to cause to enter suddenly a particular state or condition. Um, I'm trying to see which is the right spelling. It could be the other spelling, THROUGH, but through in the sense that done, finished, finito, mother of season. Like, girl, I came along. Yes, honey, I came a long way because, honey, you could have put a fork in me. I was done. Like, I felt like, spirit, you're stretching me, and I felt stretch. You ever stretch something so much that it just lost its shape? It's like, usually when you stretch something, it bounces, it goes back like elastic. But I felt like I was being stretched beyond my limit, that I was going to pop, right? But it was always that breakdown, and then there's that breakthrough right after. It was never really finished. I was never really through or done, or there was never an end. It was always just an opportunity for something new to replace what had to go. Even at my lowest points where I didn't want to live, even at my lowest where I wanted to commit suicide or was just having suicidal thoughts, because I don't even think that I had the courage to actually follow through with my thought pattern. But even when I was in that state of mind, I always had an opportunity to have a new beginning, to rethink, revise, and to basically just have a chance to reconnect to self. Self mastery requires you to go through many deaths and many rebirths. Exactly, Dark Night of the Soul. Exactly. Thank you. Um, Spirit says, make peace with the parts of yourself that tell you that whatever you do, it will never be enough. And that is what I was feeling. No matter what I did as a mother, it was never enough. No matter what I did as a friend, it was never enough, or a sister, or a reader, or a businesswoman, or a wife, or a girlfriend. I always felt like it wasn't enough. The effort, the lessons, it was is one thing after the other. But Spirit is saying in this moment, find peace with where you're at in life, no matter what's going on. Look for that peace, and find your equilibrium, and stay centered in your square. When we say stand on your square, it's about being grounded. It's about degrees and angles. It's kind of like geometry, but spiritual, like spiritual rhetoric, right? Like, stand on your square. That means nobody can knock you fucking down. None of these experiences can knock you down, and they didn't knock you down. You were swayed, bent, you were stretched, but never broken, even when you felt broken. You understand? And Spirit says, make peace with the parts of yourself that tells you that whatever you do, it will never be enough. You are developing mastery And there will be times where you feel as if your progress is slow and inadequate. But you are called now to acknowledge that you have indeed persevered. You did it. You're still standing. You have indeed learned much. You've learned so much. You're not doing the same things that you used to do in the past. You're not putting up with the same shit that you used to put up with. You are standing up for yourself. You are loving on yourself more. You are appreciating yourself more. You're appreciating your life more. Spirit is also saying that, and you have not given up. Doing so will help you to stay the course rather than to veer off track. Be gentle with yourself as you master the challenges you always seem to overcome somehow. You are getting better at this thing called life, at building healthy relationships in prosperity, and at knowing and loving yourself as much as the conscious universe does. Give yourself credit and keep practicing. We are all learning, and New Might Spirit is here to tell you that the conscious creator in the conscious universe and or is watching and is very proud of you. That is an amazing message. That is an amazing message to have, to get confirmation that you are being celebrated, and that the universe, God, is proud of you. Your ancestors are proud of you. Your spirit guides and your angels are proud of you. I'm proud of you. And people around you are proud of you, even if you don't see that. You have accomplished so much. You have overcome so much. You have learned so much, and you have changed so much for the better. I'm going to read the spiritual message, and it says, New might feel sacred, carrying the vibration of the wise elder or teacher. When we are ready, this stone will assist us in diving down into the very depths of self in order to unearth and reclaim the lost or buried parts of us. It encourages us to embrace and integrate the neglected pieces of who we are, the neglected parts and the parts that we have neglected because we were so concerned with family, with work, with society, with meeting a certain standard, with having making a certain type of money or looking a certain type of way, having certain things. We have neglected who we truly are at the very core of us at a soul level. And it says, step into this is going the stone will help you step into your power and once again know ourselves as perfect beings as we always been. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Cornucopia. Spirit is saying that there is an abundance now when it comes to money, relationships, and just good things around you. You don't have to live in lack. You don't have to feel scarcity. You don't have to be in that scarcity mindset. You don't have to worry about the things of the past repeating because they're not, because you've been learning and you know what to do now. You don't have to tolerate certain things anymore. You don't have to sacrifice yourself anymore. You have wish fulfillment. And Spirit is letting you know that this change is here now. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be next year. It's here now. You just need to be able to be open. And I'm going to read this part again. An abundance harvest and great blessings are waiting for you, and you may even find all of your wishes fulfilled. This cornucopia of gifts from the universe can come in the form of financial riches. Some of you guys are about to get some money, job fulfillment, better jobs, or starting your own careers or own entrepreneurial projects, romantic love, better relationships with lovers, and also with friends and family because you're reclaiming your power, you're standing up for yourself, you're going to be willing to make the tough decisions that are for your self benefit. And Spirit says, in all of the above. Okay, so you could either get one or all these things, depending on what you need and what you are willing to. Well, let me rephrase that. Depending on whether you're ready for it and whether you know that you're deserving of it. It says when you receive the cornucopia card upright, you know that you've done important work. So Spirit is saying that you're being blessed with these gifts because you've done the work. This is not if you do the work. This is you've done some work. You've planted the seeds, and whatever you planted is coming to bless you. Period. If you did the work when it came to financial and prosperity, if you did whatever you needed to do and pass those tests, the Spirit's about to bless you. If you did what you needed to do when it came to relationships and stood up for yourself, set boundaries, loved on yourself, didn't accept crumbs, didn't accept them busters, and didn't let people take advantage of you, Spirit says that blessing's coming, or you're going to get all of the blessings. And it says, when you receive the cornucopia upright, you know that you've done important work and it's about to pay off. The seeds you've planted in your energy and in your life are ready to be harvested in some significant ways. Get ready for a great feast of abundant value is being prepared for you now. And Spirit is applauding. Again, another confirmation that Spirit is clapping and applauding you for your hard work. Well done. Well done. I love you guys. Good job, you guys. I'm proud of you guys. I know that it may be feeling like, oh, wait, I don't see it yet. It's here. Be open to it. Be at peace so that you can receive it. So I'll talk to you guys later. I hope this helped. I hope that you guys received this message in good faith, and I hope that it reached whoever it needed to reach. But I'm about to go. Really happy and blessed to have you guys here with me this morning. Please leave comments. Please reflect on what I said. And just leave me comments, email me, whatever you need to do to let me know how you receive this message. I know that I was talking to a lot of you guys in the chat, and I hope that this blessed a lot of you guys because it definitely blessed me. It definitely opened my eyes. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel like it wasn't all for nothing. It makes me feel like I am doing a good job as a mother, as a reader, as a businesswoman, as a friend, as a person, as a human. I feel good in this moment. This is a blessing. This message was a blessing. And I hope it was a blessing for you too. Bye.